The Hawaiian island of Maui is in ashes as a result of last week's wildfires. Over $5.52 billion in damage and at least 96 deaths have been attributed to this disaster. How can Hawaii prepare for similar calamities in the future, and did the scientists surprise as the fires surprised them? Hawaii has experienced wildfires before. Although outsiders typically imagine the Pacific archipelago as a location with lush tropical vegetation, each island has a leeward side that is shielded from the wind and is drier. Because of the region's generally sunny weather, this side of the island is where most tourists like to gather. Hawaiians call this region of Maui cruel sun because it has always been hot and dry. This region's most deadly fire started there on August 8th. Likewise, Hawaiian fires are getting worse and happening more frequently. According to climatologist Abby Fraser of Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts, we've been seeing a pretty steady increase, and in the last few decades, an exponential increase in the amount of area that burns in Hawaii every year. According to a Maui County report from 2021, the number of incidents from a combination of wild, brush, forest fires appears to be increasing, and that this poses an increased threat to citizens, properties, and sacred sites. But what was the cause? An ignite source, dryness, and fuel make up the three basic components of a wildfire. The primary fuel in Hawaii is grass, which grew in abundance in formerly agricultural areas when the economy transitioned from ranching to the production of sugar and pineapples, and from agriculture to tourism. In a self-sustaining cycle, dry grass fires have the ability to spread fire to nearby forests, which then frequently turn into grasslands afterward. According to Fraser, who looked at how rainfall patterns have altered in the islands over the past century, the dryness needed for the wildfires came from droughts that are lasting longer and getting more severe throughout Hawaii. Because of climate change, temperatures have risen, which causes vegetation to dry out more quickly. Harder to prove, according to Fraser, is that climate change is also contributing to a decline in rainfall. The El Niño Southern Oscillation ENSO and the Pacific Decadal Oscillation, two intricate and recurring weather patterns that control the natural temperature of the Pacific, are partly to blame for the challenge. During the La Nina phase of the ENSO, which lasted from the end of 2022 to the beginning of 2023, the Pacific saw a highly wet and humid season. Rainfall on Maui was 90 to 120% over average, resulting in a healthy growth of grass. El Niño, which usually ushers in warmer, drier weather, made a comeback in June. The dry season in Hawaii, which lasts from May to October, is not necessarily accompanied by drought. However, forecasters at the U.S. National Atmospheric and Oceanic Administration were already expecting drought and below-average precipitation for Hawaii, and specifically for the leeward side of Maui, as early as May. The U.S. Drought Monitor reports that 80% of Hawaii is considered abnormally dry, and that 14% of the state is experiencing severe or moderate drought. Because grass loses moisture in dry conditions, it burns more readily and spreads more quickly. 90% less rain falls on Hawaii's land than it did a century ago, according to scientists, with the period since 2008 being particularly dry. Sparks from broken power lines or other electrical equipment are one candidate for the source of the island fires that broke out last week, though this is still unknown. It is certain that the strong winds brought on by Hurricane Dura, which was only 500 miles offshore, would have contributed to the rapid spread of small-scale fires. The U.S. National Weather Service had already warned on August 4 that the combination of Dura's winds and the drought would make for hazardous fire weather. For the leeward regions of every Hawaiian island, the agency issued a red flag warning on August 7 due to the fire hazard. Hawaii Governor Josh Green described the flames as the largest natural disaster in the history of the state during a press conference on Thursday. According to Mr. Green, this is the worst wildfire that we have ever seen affect a city in this way. He also noted that Hawaii was under previously unheard-of strain due to the effects of climate change. In many different places of the world, we are witnessing this for the first time, he remarked. The last significant fire in Hawaii occurred in 2018, when Hurricane Lane's winds fanned the flames near Lahaina, the same town this week's fires have decimated. According to local media, the fire 5 years ago burned 21 structures, the majority of which were residences, 31 vehicles, and 2,000 acres of land. In the past, wildfires in Hawaii were not common. They were typically started by volcanic eruptions or lightning strikes. However, due to human activities, they have become more prevalent and extreme in recent years. As temperatures rise and heat waves become longer and more intense, climate change is putting more people at risk of wildfires worldwide. When a fire starts, it can spread more quickly due to drier vegetation and warmer temperatures. As a result of climate change and changes in how people utilize land, the UN anticipates a rise in the number of intense wildfires and their spread to previously untouched areas. What is the deadliest wildfire ever recorded in the US? According to the National Fire Protection Association (NFPA), the Peshtigo fire in Wisconsin, which began on October 8, 1871, resulted in 1,152 fatalities. Around 2,000 people considered Peshtigo their permanent home at the time, though the city's population grew as a result of immigrants looking for jobs in the railroad, manufacturing, and lumber industries. The town's buildings, including the walkways, were all made of wood, and it was encircled by a pine forest. Everything was covered in the largest woodworking facility in the world, located in the town. After a dry winter, spring, and summer, the town was especially at risk on October 8, 1871, when a low-pressure system whipped up a strong wind and turned a nearby brush fire into a conflagration. Survivors described the conflagration as a wall of fire that engulfed the community in minutes, according to the Peshtigo Historical Society. According to the Library of Congress, the Maui wildfire is the deadliest since the Clockit fire in October 1918, when railroad sparks sparked a wildfire that burned for more than 4 days and decimated northern Minnesota. As a result of what are now referred to as the Clockit, Moose Lake fires, the NFPA estimated 453 fatalities. According to the Hinckley government website, a breeze whipped up in 1894 during circumstances that were eerily similar to those that caused the Peshtigo fire 23 years earlier and transformed a number of small, scattered fires near a cluster of logging communities into a wall of flame that obliterated Hinckley, Mission Creek, Sandstone, Miller, Partridge, and Pokegama. 400 square miles of land were burned, and 418 people perished in the blaze. Climate change makes it more hot and dry, which facilitates flames spreading more quickly, burning longer, and raging more ferociously. Increased temperatures also dehydrate vegetation, converting it to dry fuel that facilitates the spread of flames. There are other causes of wildfires besides climate change. On top of that, crucial roles are played by forest management and ignition sources. A few efforts, such starting controlled burns that resemble the low-intensity fires that occur naturally during ecosystem cycles, or creating gaps in forests to prevent blazes from rapidly spreading across wide regions, can help to contain serious flames. And so, what do you think could be done to prevent the same catastrophe in the future? Share your thoughts in the comment box below. Please subscribe to Weather Collapse if you want to know more and be updated on the latest news about natural calamities or disasters happening all over the world, and don't forget to like today's video. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.